Murray and I have just got back from a massive trip overseas to the land of bald eagles and big meals, America. And over there is a huge convention called Gencon, which is the largest board gaming and tabletop gaming convention in North America. Now, I want to talk to you about what we did there, what we saw there, and what we learned, because this convention really is like nothing we've ever seen before. And as we get into it, a minor caveat, we did want Murray to be here. In fact, he is here, but he got con crud and he can't really talk.
Hello, everyone. Oh, that's actually quite sultry. Maybe I should have been talking.
That's why he's not talking, because you might all get hard-ons. This video was sponsored and made possible by Corvus Belli, who, after flying us to Adepticon, said we simply must go and see Gencon because it is such a huge convention, there's nothing else like it. And that journey started as most international journeys do, with a trip to the airport and cramming onto a plane in economy class and traveling 16 hours overseas to Dallas, Texas. And from Dallas, we then caught a plane flight to Indianapolis, Indiana, a state so American that even the car number plates have the American flag flying across them. So for those of you who might be wondering what Gencon is a 4-day convention that covers everything. It covers board gaming, tabletop gaming, miniature war gaming, and card gaming as well, which means you're just as likely to bump into a member of Critical Role as you are to walk across some amazing MTG artists or see us sitting in the corner somewhere. So the layout of Gencon is pretty simple. It's all based around this massive expo hall. And this hall contains so many booths and vendors that it really does cover pretty much every base. It's triple to quadruple the size of Adepticon just in the floor space here. And that isn't even covering the learn to play sections, because there is another convention hall as big as Melbourne, our home state's capital's largest convention center. And that is just dedicated to learning to play trialing games. And no, not for every game, just for the games in the Expedition Center. I'm talking like Warhammer Learn to Paints, we're talking Corvus Belli, Lorcana, Flesh and Blood, Pokemon TCG, and a whole bunch more. But not Magic, no. Magic got the entire football stadium. Because the Indianapolis Convention Center, big as it is not big enough to contain Gencon. There are multiple hotels connected by skywalks, and each of those hotels has traditional ballroom-style convention centers. Multiple rooms, multi-purpose centers, able to cater to pretty much any kind of event. And in those rooms, there are some of the 25,000 events that you can see or do at Gencon. Gencon has existed in previous incarnations for almost 60 years, and there are entire traditions that have built up around this convention. So as you walk past these rooms in hotels, you're seeing gaming groups that have been meeting up year on year for decades. I truly believe that no one person could experience everything Gencon has to offer, whether they had 1 year to attend or a lifetime, because there is so much constantly happening and constantly evolving at this event. It is almost impossible to comprehend this convention, but I'm going to try and pack it down and explain all the things we did, because that's really the best way I can get across just how cool it is. Now, there is one thing that needs to be said before we can continue, and that is a massive thank you from Murray and I, from the bottom of our hearts, to Chad and his family. They are Warcores and stalwart members of the Infinity and now Warcrow community in Indianapolis, and they actually put us up in their home and put up with us, two loud Australians, and were just amazing hosts. So I did want to say thank you very much to them. So with some excellent local guides, we did have a bit of fun the day before, getting to meet some of the awesome Warcore community. But it was time for day 1 of Gencon. So we decided to avoid the 2-hour will call line and get into the convention hall, ready to watch as the doors opened on that expo hall for the first time, as literally tens of thousands of people who've been lining up outside burst into this massive convention hall, hoping to get their hands on some convention exclusives, which means there is a big reason for a lot of people to enthusiastically run into the expo hall, get to their favorite booth, and buy the thing that they've been waiting to buy. And for us, we wanted to see this convention hall before it was too late and some of the spicy stuff sold out, so we had a little bit of a side quest.
We're here, we're inside.
Yes, we're here just before the doors are open to everyone else, but we're here to tell you our plan before it gets too loud. So this convention hall is like 3 times, maybe 4 times bigger than even Adepticon, and we're gonna try and do the entire exhibitor hall in 1 day. Which is going to be impossible. It's going to be so crazy busy in here, and we're not starting until everyone's allowed in. No head starts, no cheating.
Yep, it's going to be an absolute mammoth undertaking, like actually impossible. But we're going to give it a bloody try because we want to see as much as possible.
We have a caveat though.
Yeah?
We do have a caveat. We are not doing the art alley because we don't want to rush that, but we're going to see everything else.
Yeah, we're going to try and see as much product as possible, talk to as many people as possible, just see what we can do in a single day. That's the challenge.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Cool. Woo. It is already after lunch. We have done
Not even half.
not even half, but we have possibly done more than we thought we might have.
Yeah, we're making up some ground because there's a whole bunch of stores selling Magic singles and we don't really need to spend all our time with that. You having fun?
Sure am.
Seen anything cool?
Yes, many cool things.
Oh, let's get back to it. Let's get back to it.
We're actually excited. We might actually get this done. So let's go.
Yeah, we better get cracking.
We did it. We actually did it.
Barely. I mean, we did start to walk pretty fast towards the end. Yeah, we managed to basically walk the entire vendor hall. Did we play any games?
No.
No. Did we do any deep dives?
No, we had a few decent chats.
There were a
but
few decent chats. And lastly, did we see the art alley? Not yet. There's so much more to do in Gencon.
our feet are killing us.
You're about to see it right now, but we're pretty much ready for dinner. It's the end of the day. Yeah, feet are very sore.
Struggling to hold this camera.
Just about grabbed the strap of the camera and pulled it down. Their little ADHD hands were like there. So you know what? I'm going to emulate them. Look, the expo hall was super cool. And one of the things that I thought was amazing about Gencon that you just do not get elsewhere, and certainly not in Australia, is everyone exhibiting is someone you want to talk to. Now, I don't want to disparage any local conventions, small conventions, or even what we have in Australia, and the awesome sales teams and people who work really hard to put on those booths. But there is something fundamentally different about talking to, well, like a GameStop employee versus talking to the literal creator of the game, standing at the booth, passionately explaining why they brought their game to the event. And this energy and this closeness and connectedness to the exhibitors makes that hall of capitalism actually something a little more special than, you know, just a sales floor. It's always great to get a new bit of insight and also a handshake and a connection to the people who we may end up doing sponsored videos for in the future, or perhaps ones that we have in the past. So it was super cool getting to see some of the stuff going on. We checked out Loot Studios' Malediction while we were there. We went over to the Army Painter booth, and at the end of the event, they actually gave us their demo models of some really cool new pens. These are basically like speed paint markers. We'll try them out. They're gonna be really cool to look at. We also met Dan, Bear Cavalry Paints, who is a patron of ours who has been producing paints and is just getting them distributed into Australia, which is really cool. They're gun themed, very American. It was also fantastic getting to check out game demos and introductions from Creature Caster, who've got some really cool stuff going on. There's a lot going on in that like hex-based arena battlefield game, as well as seeing the preliminary sets of Gundam Assemble getting sold in a special pack with their new trading card game as well. One of the things that were really exciting for us personally here was getting to speak to Dave from TT Combat. Now, I followed Drop Zone Commander from back when it was Hawk War Games, and Dave basically invented the entire game, hid himself in a basement, so to speak, and just made everything, the rules, the lore, the models, and then released this game that I fell in love with. So being able to speak to him in person as he excitedly talked about the upcoming releases, the quality jumps, the new fleet ships in plastic, which I'm gonna be honest, I think we need to do a video on. Murray and I love fleet games, we love spaceships, and there is no one out there making the kinds of stuff that they're now making for Drop Fleet Commander. So if you wanna see a video where we go into those kinds of spaceship games, we'd love to do a video on Drop Fleet. But it wasn't just that, because also we got to see the Kingdom Death exhibit. And I've never seen this disgusting fetish game so beautifully showcased as it was at Gencon. I'm just staring, it's cool. It's dark, it's grim, it's a little bit sexy, but Kingdom Death has definitely captured the imagination of a lot of people. And it is also something that I think we'd be able to do a great video on, and it was fantastic seeing so much of it from sort of on the other side of a Kickstarter page. We got to see the way they set up their booths and their demos, and also just their amazing array of gorgeous miniatures. And we also got to speak to Andy Poots, the creator of Kingdom Death, who has spent the last 17 years working on this project that has been a massive success. So hey, another video idea for the future. Let us know if you'd like to see it in the comments. It was day 2. We actually went to a fantastic event the night before, and I won't give too many details away because it was a secret. After a fair few drinks and a little bit of sleep, we made it to the convention hall for day 2. And we had 2 big things to tick off our list today. Number 1 was we needed to go and see the art section before any exciting prints sell out. And number 2 was to dive into the new offerings from Corvus Belli.
All right, so we are in the vendor hall, and one of the things that is probably going to sell out is art. And there's so many amazing artists here, so really excited to check it out.
Not to mention, like, we're used to artist alleys in Australia, of course, but we're not used to an artist alley that's like nearly the size of an entire convention in Australia.
And full of big name artists as well. So I can't wait to browse, and we don't want stuff to sell out. So let's give it a crack.
Let's go in.
It's very busy.
So this art section had Murray and my jaws on the floor. I have so much respect for artists. We work with amazing artists in this studio, whether it be Jazza or Alicia, who do the concept art for our Kindred of the Abyss and our own miniatures, as well as our roleplay, to the personal talents that I know Murray and Jen secretly harbor as they doodle away on tablets and don't share with everyone. I am in fact the only person on the team who is very unskilled with a pen or pencil, so it is with the giddy awe of a small child who doesn't understand how magic is made that we walked through this art hall. Now, we have amazing artists all over the world, and they're amazing Australian artists, but something that was uniquely special about Gencon, and I'm sure many large cons on the US circuit, is their art alley. Because the caliber of professional artists at this alley was unbelievable. Everywhere you looked, there were professional Magic the Gathering artists with their booths, Instagram artists, and even YouTuber artists like Inkwell, who Jen follows, showing off their wares in these extremely professional setups. And I think it's because there are so many conventions in America that artists can basically make the convention circuit part of their professional income and part of their routine. In Australia, you don't usually see the same concentration of high caliber artists because we simply don't have a number of events large enough to cater to a market of purchasers that really make that a sustainable practice for the artists. I spent so much time ogling all of these beautiful artworks, from ones that I ended up buying prints of. In fact, we'll show you all the prints and all the art we bought at this event. We spent a fair bit of money on it. To those that I admired and maybe didn't buy. There was so many artworks there that I just had a lot of respect for and loved, kept staring at, but thought, you know, maybe this just won't suit my house, or maybe the torturous, horrifying image is really cool to look at, but I wouldn't put it in my guest room for people to ask questions about why there's a bleeding lamb or something on the wall. I don't know. Art is cool to look at. I was just blown away, and Murray and I were blown away, and we became patrons of the arts as we forked over our American dollars and picked up some sick prints. Do you want me to say anything else here? He's like a little advisor in the corner, like sick, just like, yes, with his notebook.
My lord, Gandalf is not welcome here.
We've finished.
That was
shopping.
exhausting. So many amazing artists. It's just a huge and inspiring part of the sort of job and the surrounding stuff that we're beginning to take part in.
Yeah, it wasn't just indulging ourselves.
It's just it's research. It's research for work, right? That's what the tax department is for.
That was an exhausting foray, and we're gonna just keep doing it.
Yes.
The next day.
Yeah, we'll have to calibrate tomorrow and more. What a cool convention.
Just literally like one fraction of this
The
room.
smallest part.
Yes.
It's like the smallest. The size of an entire Australian convention is just the artist alley at this convention.
With bags of art, we were ready to scurry over to Corvus Belli and really check out some of the awesome stuff they had on offer. So the big new thing that we were excited about is the Song of the Dormant, the new 2-player pack for Warcrow. And this is really exciting to us as a team because we've been looking eagerly on this game, but waiting for the 4th and 5th factions, because Murray was going to collect Feudum, I'm going to do the Hegemony of Embasig, and Jen's going to do the Sianan kind of Wood Elf faction. So it's fantastic that finally we can actually get models for all the factions. I feel like this game is at a critical point where it could launch off and get really popular. So keep an eye on Warcrow, because right now is like a time to dive into it. It's a fantasy skirmish game. It's really cool. Cool dice mechanics, beautiful models. It's great. But Corvus were also showing off their new releases. They have a really nice way of just making sure they're constantly drip feeding releases out for all their different factions. It never feels like overwhelm. You kind of just get like 1 or 2 releases a month, and all of them are gorgeous. In fact, one of the things I think Corvus does super well is their really professional box art style. It's completely unattainable to the average painter, but my God, does it look good. But it wasn't only the Corvus booth that we were able to check out, because we also went over to the demo hall and saw our new friends, the Warcores, as they were showing off games of Infinity. Here, I got to sample a little game from Carlos Bostria, a bit of a celebrity in the Infinity scene, as he showed me a preview, a prototype version of the 2nd version of Aristea. It's like an arena fight board game, and it's going to be called Hexadome Legends. It'll be coming out next year. So it was really cool. Murray and I got to play that. We got to enjoy the different characters, get a little bit salty. That was me that got salty, because I'm not used to losing, and Murray whipped my butt in this game. So maybe it's a game we should play more, because it's one where I get my ass handed to me. So that was really fun, and we felt privileged to get to share in all of that. We also had a really brief opportunity on that day to go to a seminar run by the Dungeon Coach, who created DC20. We actually chatted a bunch back in the early days on Tabletop Time Roleplay about game dev, about Cogent Roleplay, and a little bit about Gateway Roleplay. And it was one of those special opportunities to catch up with someone we've never actually met in person. We've just video called and chatted. So it was so cool to get to see him and hear him talk about the success of DC20 and how he wants to make it perfect. And I look forward to chatting more in the future. So Alan, if you watch this, yeah, hit me up. You know, we're gonna talk. It's gonna be great. With that day over, it was time to go to sleep. We were getting very exhausted from walking around the whole time, but the next day we had something to look forward to. Day 3.
So this is just another one of those cool things at Gencon we found. It's called Card Huller or Card Huller. And basically you build towers out of cards if you're bored and just want to build them up. And then for charity, people can come at the end, throw money at it basically and try and smash all the towers down. And then all the money collected goes to charity, which is super cool. And like just shows the creativity, the activities. It's really fun. And also I just like seeing a bunch of Magic and Pokemon cards.
So if you've ever watched the Games Workshop reveal shows, you'll know what to expect, except maybe not, because the Corvus Belli seminar actually has a little bit of a different vibe. Now I know this is gonna sound like a constant glaze fest, but as people who feel like we're coming out of a strange abusive relationship with a company that doesn't love us, it's really interesting getting to experience sort of how other companies operate. And seeing the tongue-in-cheek, self-aware approach that Corvus Belli had during their seminar is super refreshing. And I'll give you the big example of that. So from what I picked up from the players, when Infinity moved to its latest edition, they basically legendsed or scrapped a bunch of sub-factions from the game. The community was none too happy about that, as you can understand, but they felt it was the right decision for their game. After a significant amount of backlash, they announced at Gen Con that they were returning the factions to the game. You see, they'd had enough time with the new edition to be comfortable the balance and everything was okay. And after hearing the complaints and the genuine concerns of their community, they felt, you know what, there's enough love here. Probably we should bring this back. Let's bring them back. We're comfortable, we can do that. And they basically said, hey, maybe we shouldn't have done that. And we respect you and your models, and we're gonna give them rules again.
After listening to all of you and the experiences that you were having playing, that this is something that the community not only wanted, but needed. And Corvus is a company that listens to its fans. So you guys did this. So give yourselves a round of applause.
Everything is coming back.
What? The company listened and then did the thing the fans wanted? But they didn't say buy new product? Buy new $500 box? every week? Sorry, I'm just dazed and confused because I've spent the last few years in the Games Workshop marketing pipeline and I'm not used to a level of self-awareness and honesty from a company. God, I shouldn't be so honest. Beyond that, they also announced novels that they're creating. We briefly got to speak to Gabriel, who has written a new novel for them, and it was really exciting to get that genuine enthusiasm from a new author. And they basically said, if you've got great ideas, submit them. So it's just cool. It's a cool vibe. But enough Corvus Belli. I know they flew us over there, but we want to see some other stuff. So it's time I go over to the Lucas Oil Stadium. I'd been begging Murray the whole time. I was like, please, can I see Magic the Gathering? And we finally made it over to Lucas Oil.
So it's another day at Gen Con, and one of the cool things about Gen Con is cosplay. There's so many cosplays. So today I'm cosplaying as an Australian, which is not a big stretch, but we are in the Lucas Oil Stadium, which is an American football stadium, and it is now full of Magic the Gathering. So I've gotten into Magic again recently, and I gotta say it's so cool seeing a tournament of this scale here. We've got all the prize walls, there's event registration so you can pick up and play. Of course, we don't have any time for that. I wish I did, but hey, it's still really cool to see it all here. I'm gonna go check out the prizes I can't win. For Ultramar, for McCrag. Actually, it's for the Colts. That's a bit suspicious, in fact. Wonder if Games Workshop were fans.
We'll never know. And over here, we have a board games library, which is half, maybe 30% of this entire arena, which is kind of mind-boggling, to be honest. So really quiet right now. I wonder how loud it gets in here.
I was like zoomed in on the boxes when you said that.
My face. I'm sorry, did you just like get my face like this, like this?
An aspect that is also amazing every time I go to a con, but I have to admit is a little bit less present at Gen Con relative to the con attendance count, is cosplay. It's something Jen and I in particular really would love to get into and do professionally. We'd kind of hoped when we did the Celestine sword that the video would perform really well and it would be an excuse to us to make some like Warhammer cosplays and stuff. And maybe in the future we'll try again to make some cool cosplay stuff because it seems like a lot of fun. But we met some cool cosplayers there, and Corvus Belli had got G and Seraph to be cosplaying a awesome new character from the Scions of Yaldabaoth from the new Song of the Dormant. Hush, or Yawn, or Sleepy Time Promise. I don't know. It was one of the 7 dwarfs.
Seraph will be so happy that after all that, you know, feeding her lines that you forgot it.
It's fine. We'll use the audio from the thing. This is just in case. This is just in case, Fawn. Okay, and some amazing cosplay over at the Warhammer booth. Look, I was shitting on Warhammer before, but it doesn't mean I didn't grow up and love it and don't still love the IP and the world and the settings, and the amazing amount of effort that went in by those cosplayers to make those really cool outfits was super cool. As for the Warhammer booth itself, Murray and I walked through it briefly, but they didn't really have any convention exclusives or exciting things that we hadn't already had the opportunity to purchase before. And while some years the Warhammer Con exclusives are awesome, personally I think the 2025 ones are I'm just not for me. Gene's still a cult guy, I don't really care. Whereas last year's like Crow guy from Age of Sigmar, 10 out of 10. And the crew, moans Murray weekly in the corner. Day 4. And somehow day 3 was over and we could not believe it. We were having so much fun. We were meeting a bunch of people, great companies, talking to them, seeing their games, doing everything we could, and it still felt like we barely scratched the surface and we should be on day 1, but the con was almost over. Day 4 is a short day, and it was a day we kind of got to have a little bit more free time, ambling about the hall and checking things out a bit more at our leisure. So with the fourth day, Murray and I started to get that little sense of sadness. Even though it had been a really full couple of days, it was a shock to us both that the convention was almost over. There is truly nothing like this, nothing even remotely close to this in Australia. We have PAX Melbourne convention, but with a huge focus on video games and a significantly less impressive expo hall. It just doesn't even scratch the surface in the way that Gencon has for a tabletop wargamer. Of course, our interests lie outside wargaming. Our interests include role-playing games like D&D, Daggerheart, which was there for the first time, super cool to see. MCDM's Draw Steel was available at the event. There was all this exciting stuff happening in the role-play space, exciting stuff in the mini space, and board games galore, and we love all of that. So while Adepticon is maybe the mecca for tabletop wargamers and Warhammer fans, I really felt that Gen Con was something special for those general traditional tabletop nerds that kind of love all of it like us. But while the expo hall closed, our final hands were shaken and our brief conversations with awesome people that we'd wanted to meet or talk to while we were there came to a close. There was one more part of the ceremonies, a tradition of the Warcore and Corvus Belli staff as they took us to St. Elmo's Steakhouse, a famous place in Indianapolis where we would have the famous shrimp cocktail and I would have an awkward phone call to Jen, remortgaging our house to buy a steak. And let me just say, the shrimp cocktail was certainly something.
There's a reason it's world renowned.
It's world renowned. If you go to St. Elmo Steakhouse in Indianapolis, you'll be encouraged to get a shrimp cocktail. Side note, do you like wasabi?
No.
Huh, interesting. Do you like eating a spoonful of raw wasabi?
No.
No, that was a no from Murray. Unrelated, maybe. Well, regardless of world-renowned shrimp cocktails, the steak was delicious, but more importantly, it was the company that we got to spend hanging out with the Corvus Belli crew, the Warcores, and also Stephen from Vanguard Tactics. We got to meet him. He was there as well. We shook hands. He's very strong and very British, and it was very cool listening to his British accent.
Very handsome.
Very handsome, says Murray. Ooh, Stephen, there you go.
Okay. I don't know. I wanted to be part of this.
Murray's way of being part of this is just trying to flirt with Stephen from Vanguard Tactics. She's just hot. She's a hot guy. What do you got me right here? Yeah, I know. So that was our Gen Con experience. We did have one more day where Chad and Heather, his wife, took us to the Indianapolis Motor Museum because, of course, what is Indianapolis famous for, if not the Indy 500? It was really cool to check all of that out and have an iconic Indianapolis tenderloin sandwich, which is a burger. Americans, it's a burger. It's in a bun, it's a burger. A sandwich is two bread, sandwich. You put it in a kid's lunchbox. Just so you know, just because you're getting this wrong.
YouTube's getting harder, so obviously we've got to diversify our content. So this is my Chick-fil-A deluxe fillet burger review. Americans might call this a sandwich. It's in fact a burger. It's pretty good.
It's just confusing. Why do they have burgers and, well, we actually found out that. We found out that the distinction is, so this is why it's good to ask. In America, it's like a burger is made with a ground beef patty. It's like what's in the thing, whereas for Aussies, it's what the bread is. So a sandwich is like sliced bread, a burger is a bun, a sub is a Subway thing, a hot dog's a hot dog, a taco is the taco. Like, it's all about the shell, not the innards. Anyway, and it was great, and we had a great time, and then it was time to get on the plane and come back home, but there was one more special place I had been wanting to visit the entire time I went to America. Here it is. Last day in America, we're about to fly out, but just before we did, we had to go and see an American staple, one that is close to the end, and it is all thanks to Papa Meat for suggesting Red Lobster, so we got to help look after this. If he can walk his sore little legs in there, we can do it too. So let's go enjoy some lobster. Let's see if Papa Meat was right about Red Lobster's cheddar biscuits. Ooh, pretty damn good.
That's like a chicken in a biscuit, but
And lobster dip is on your chin.
Yes, thanks.
Look, was I influenced? Did I insist on going to Red Lobster because a Papa Meat video ranked it a 9 out of 10 of American family restaurants? Yes, influence is influence. Was it worth it and was he right? Yes. It was awesome. I would go to Red Lobster all the goddamn time if I lived near a Red Lobster. I love seafood. That lobster dip thing, good value and delicious. So in summary, our final thoughts, thank you so much to Corvus Belli for taking us over there. We hope you enjoyed our recap of the event, and it was super cool for another reason. You see, I have been nagging Jen and Murray to start painting Infinity and Warcrow since I got back from Adepticon, but I think there's something different about being there and the tactile feel of starting a game and also having the faction. So we did manage to get Murray a demo of Warcrow, and he was endlessly talking about how much he wanted to get back home and start painting minis. So finally, the crew is ready and we can start getting to work on building some warbands, which is really exciting. In summary, Gencon, should you go? Yes. Will you spend a lot of money? Yes, because everything's really expensive. Hotel rooms, food, parking, health insurance, America, flights.
Red Lobster.
No, Red Lobster was reasonably priced. Art, it's all fine. You'll spend a lot of money. You'll have a great time, you'll spend a lot of money, you'll meet new friends, and just go. Here's my honest review. I cannot imagine living in America within 2 to 3 states of Indianapolis and not going to Gen Con every single year. Like, it is awesome. I would totally go, I'd book a hotel with the hotel blocks and get it nice and cheap, and I'd travel there every single year if it wasn't 24 hours of flights away from me. So look, it was an amazing time. Thank you to everyone we met. We had a great time. And look, we really hope we can see some of you guys. Thank you to everyone who came up and said hi. We had a bunch of love from fans, from patrons even, who happened to see us there and say hi. That was fantastic. It really means the world to us. It makes us feel a little bit special. So if we get the chance to go again, we absolutely would. And if we get the chance to go anywhere international to a convention and see any of you, we absolutely would. It was a great time. So thank you to Corvus Belli a final time. Thank you to everyone else for watching, but also a massive thank you to patrons, because if it wasn't for your support, allowing us to keep operating, allowing us to keep making videos, we would never get the opportunities that are brought to us by companies like Corvus Belli, who say, hey, do you want to come to Gen Con? We'll fly you over. So we wouldn't be able to do this job without you, the patrons, first and foremost. That's the way YouTube has gone these days. So many of us out here are eternally grateful, and I know you hear it endlessly parroted, like support patron, thank you so much. But if you like content, if you like this creative stuff, that's the world we live in now, and it's thanks to the patrons that it exists. So look, we had a great time. We're exhausted. It was worth every second, and we hope you've enjoyed the video. You'll see more from us soon. Murray has final words.
No, this is just your Marvel Easter egg at the end of the video for listening to more of Murray's ASMR voice.
Oh, the most important thing, Red Lobster review.
The crap was good. Like that cheddar biscuits. Oh, that slaps. That actually slaps.
We went all the way to America for that.